Okay, so something happened today, and I'm pretty sure I'm in the Matrix. This is going to require a bit of story time because you have to know just the sheer amount of coincidences that made this happen. So it's 2018. I'd literally just moved to Cardiff with my then, well, ex-boyfriend, and I literally just started up a job as a Lumix camera salesman. This was my first day, and for the first day, we took the cameras out so that I could get to know them, and we took them around the town centre and we did some street photography. So I used a GX80, and among other things that I shot that day, I took this photo. There's something I really like about this photo. At the time, this girl was looking really annoyed, like angry, fed up, just having a cigarette break, and I really liked the emotion in that. And I thought, oh, I want to capture that real quick. So I just very slyly took a secret picture of her, and then carried on with the rest of my day. So what transpired after that was 6 months later, I was made redundant from that job. I got another job as a camera salesperson. 6 months later or so, I left it because of very bad mental health. My relationship ended, and I basically ended up going back to my home city after I had a bit of a mental breakdown, basically. And I'd also found out, on top of my bad mental health, that my ex had cheated on me. So I left him, went back to my home city, and that was that. I was completely done with Cardiff. I didn't want to ever go there again. I didn't want to ever be there again because it just brought back too many traumatic memories, and everything around there reminded me of my ex. And I was like, no, that's it. I don't want anything more to do with that. A year went past. The pandemic happened. I was still at home. Once the pandemic was over, I started looking for jobs. I was searching for a while, but very coincidentally, the job that I decided to go with in the end was a photographer. But it was for a job in Cardiff. At the time I was thinking, okay, this job is really cool. I really want to do this, but it's in Cardiff. So I was a bit like, I don't know. But I thought, you know what, I'll just do with it. I'll go with it, it's not too far away from my parents. I know the city really well. It's like a second home. And, maybe I'll make new memories, just do it for the job. And I did. I went back, started the job, really, really enjoyed it. Started making new memories. Don't even associate Cardiff with my ex anymore. I worked in that job for almost 2.5 years. I met my now partner whilst I was doing that. And then the job that I was working in, a lot of people at the beginning were saying they didn't really like it. And after 2.5 years, I started to see what was going on. I started to see why there was such a high turnover of people. And so I wanted to leave, basically. After a long time, I really, really wanted to leave. So kind of around the time that I was going to hand in my notice, this other girl arrives. She's called Corinne. She's working for the social department. And we really get on. Me, Corinne, and my then co-worker, Ron, we're doing social videos and we're filming almost every day. And we have so much fun. And a lot of the filming time is spent with us chatting about how terrible the job is and how much we hate the work. Everyone hates it, and it's just, we're almost like brung together over this sense of hatred for the job. Through these conversations that we have, Corinne mentions quite a few times her best friend Maz, and they've been friends since childhood. And as we're chatting, we often get anecdotes about her best friend, and it sounds like they have a really lovely friendship. Anyway, we keep working. I hand in my notice. Corinne then also hands in her notice after me. After I leave and Corinne leaves, we have a little get together afterwards. Just me, Ron, and Corinne, and we meet up. We have a nice drink and a really nice chat. And when we used to film together, we'd always talk about doing a podcast and how much fun that would be, because we had just the most fun whenever we were filming. Corinne was hilarious on camera, and we just constantly laugh. It was like the highlight of our day in that job. So we're chatting about it, and then Corinne says, oh, me and my best friend Maz, we're thinking about doing a podcast. Would you two fancy filming it, just like in the good old days? And we're like, yeah, that sounds really cool. It's a creative project. Let's give it a go. She says, great, let's fix up a time for us all to meet, all four of us. I'll bring Maz along, and you can all meet, see how you get on. A couple of weeks later, we all meet up. Maz is great. She's really lovely. We all gel really nicely. And we decided to definitely go ahead with the podcast and kind of do planning. We then film a couple of episodes a couple of months later. So I'm looking into doing a little personal creative project by myself. And I decided to go through a bunch of old pictures just to see if there's anything there, anything that I can use. And this picture pops up. And I go, oh yeah, I remember that picture. Oh, I used to really like that one. And I go to add it to my folder, and I suddenly do a double take. I'm like, I recognise this girl. Wait a minute. This can't be. It looks like Maz. It really, really looks like Maz. This girl that I've literally just known for the past couple of months. It can't be possible that 6 years ago I happened to photograph this girl and now I'm doing a podcast with her. That can't be possible. I messaged her. Yes, it was her. It was Maz. I had inadvertently photographed Maz 6 years ago on the street while she was having a cigarette break. And all of that angst was because she said she was probably texting Corin about how much she was hating her job at the time. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. If all of those things hadn't lined up so perfectly, if I hadn't ended up going back to Cardiff, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. I would have never have met her. And would you believe this has actually happened to me before? This is the second time this has happened. But that's another story. And those coincidences that led up to that person were way, way more unexpected. And you couldn't have put it together.